Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Chapter 10. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ata Sindhu Sauvirapate Rahuganasya Vrajata Ikshu Matyasthate Tatkula Patina शिभिकावाह पुरुषान्वेषण समये दैवे नोपसादितः स द्विजवर उपलब्ध एष पीवा युवा संहन नांगो गोखरवद्धरं वोडुमलमिति पूर्वविष्टि गृहीतैः सह गृहीतः प्रसभमतदर्ह उवाह शिभिकांस महानुभावः. Sukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, after this, King Rahugana, ruler of the states known as Sindhu and Sauvira, was going to Kapilashrama. When the king's chief palkin carriers reached the banks of river Ikshumati, they needed another carrier. Therefore, they began searching for someone, and by chance they came upon Jada Bharata. They considered the fact that Jada Bharata was very young and strong and had firm limbs. Like cows and asses, he was quite fit to carry loads. Thinking in this way, although the great soul Jada was unfit for such work, they nonetheless unhesitantly forced him to carry the palanquin. Yada hi dvijavarasyesu matravalokan ugaterna samahita purushagatistada Vishamagatam Swashibhikam Rahugana Upadharya Purushanadhivahat Ahahe Vodaraha Sadvati Kramata Kimiti Vishama Muhyate Yanamiti. The palanquin, however, was very erratically carried by Jada due to his sense of non-violence. As he stepped forward, he checked before him every 3 feet to see whether he was about to step on ants. Consequently, he could not keep pace with the other carriers. Due to this, the palanquin was shaking, and the king Rahugana immediately asked the carriers, Why are you carrying this palanquin unevenly? Better carry it properly. Atata Ishwaravachaha Sopalambha Mupakarnyopaya Turiyachankita Manasastam Vignapayam Babhuvuhu. When the palanquin carriers heard the threatening words of Maharaja Rahugana, they became very afraid of his punishment and began to speak to him as follows. Navayam naradeva pramatta bhavanniyamanupataha sadveva vahamaha ayamadhunaiva niyuktopina dhrutam vrajati nanena saha vodumuha vayam parayama iti. O Lord, please note that we are not at all negligent in discharging our duties. We have been faithfully carrying this palanquin according to your desire. But this man, who has been recently engaged to work with us, cannot walk very swiftly. Therefore, we are not able to carry the palanquin with him. सांसर्गिको दोष एव नूनमेकस्यापि सर्वेषां सांसर्गिकाणां भवितुमर्हतीति निश्चित्य निशम्य कृपणवचो राजा राहुगण उपासित वृद्धोऽपि निसर्गेण बलात्कृत ईशदुत्थित मन्युरविस्पष्ट ब्रह्मतेजसं जातवेद समिव राजसावृत मतिराह. King Rahugana could understand the speeches given by the carriers, who were afraid of being punished. He could also understand that simply due to the fault of one person, the palanquin was not being carried properly. Knowing this perfectly well and hearing their appeal, he became a little angry. Although he was very advanced in political science and was very experienced, his anger arose due to his inborn nature as a king. Actually, King Rahugana's mind was covered by the mode of passion, and he therefore spoke as follows to Jada, whose Brahman effulgence was not clearly visible, being covered like a fire covered by ashes. Aho kashtam bhratavyam, aho kashtam bhratarvyaktamuru parishranto dheergamadvanameka eva ऊहिवान सुचिरं नातिपीवान संहन नांगो जरसा चोपधृतो भवान् सखो भवान् सखे नो ये वा पर ये ते संघट्टिन इति बहु विप्रलब्धोप्य विद्यया रचितद्रव्यगुण कर्माशयस्व चरम कलेवरे वस्तुनि संस्थान विशेषेऽहं ममेत्यनद्यारोपित मिथ्याप्रत्ययो ब्रह्मभूतस्तूष्णीं शिबिकां पूर्ववधुवाह. King Rahugana told Jada, "How handsome this is! My dear brother, you certainly appear very fatigued because you have carried this palanquin alone without assistance for a long time and for a long distance. Besides that, due to your old age, you have become greatly troubled." My dear friend, I see that you are not very firm nor very strong and stout. Aren't your fellow carriers cooperating with you? In this way, the king criticized Jada with sarcastic words. Yet, despite being criticized in this way, Jada had no bodily conception of the situation. He knew that he was not the body, for he had attained his spiritual identity. He was neither fat, lean, nor thin, nor had he anything to do with a lump of matter, a combination of the 5 gross and 3 subtle elements. He had nothing to do with the material body and its 2 hands and legs. In other words, he had completely realized his spiritual identity, Aham Brahmasmi. He was therefore unaffected by this sarcastic criticism from the king. Without saying anything, he continued carrying the palanquin as before. Ata punah swashibhikayam vishamaghatayam prakupita Uvacha Rahuganah Kimidhamare tvam Jivan Mruto Mam Kadarthi Krutya Bhartrushasana Maticharasi Pramattasya Chate Karopi Chikitsam Dandapaniriva Janataya Yata Prakrutim Swam Bhajishyasa iti. Thereafter, when the king saw that his palanquin was still being shaken by the carriers, he became very angry and said, "You rascal, what are you doing? Are you dead despite the life within your body? Do you not know that I am your master? You are disregarding me and are not carrying out my order. For this disobedience, I shall now punch you just as Yamaraja, the superintendent of death, punishes sinful people. I shall give you proper treatment so that you will come to your senses and do the correct thing." Evam bahva bhaddamapi bhashamanam naradevabhimanam rajasa tamasanuviddhena madena tiraskrutasesha bhagavat priya niketam panditamaninam sa bhagavan brahmano brahmabhutah sarvabhuta suhrudatma yogeshwara charyayam naติvyutpannamatim smayamana iva vigatasmaya idamaha. Thinking himself a king, King Rahugana was in the bodily conception and was influenced by material nature's modes of passion and ignorance. Due to madness, he chastised Jada with uncalled for and contradictory words. Jada was a topmost devotee and the dear abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although considering himself very learned, the king did not know about the position of an advanced devotee situated in the devotional service, nor did he know his characteristics. Jada was the residence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He always carried the form of the Lord within his heart. He was the dear friend of all living beings, and he did not entertain any bodily conception. He therefore smiled and spoke the following words. Brahmana uvacha tvayoditam vyaktamavippralabdham bhartussame syadhyadhi veerabharaha ganturyadi syadhadigamya madva piveti rahau na vidam pravadaha. The great Brahmana Jada said, "My dear king and hero, whatever you have spoken sarcastically is certainly true. Actually, these are not simply words of chastisement. These are not simply words of chastisement, for the body is the carrier. The Lord carried by the body does not belong to me. The load carried by the body does not belong to me, for I am the spirit soul. There is no contradiction in your statements because I am different from the body. I am not the carrier of the palanquin. The body is the carrier. Certainly you have hinted I have been labored carrying the palanquin, for I am detached from the body. You have said that I am not stout and strong, and these words are befitting a person who does not know the distinction between the body and the soul. The body may be fat or thin, but no learned man would say such things of a spirit soul. As far as a spirit soul is concerned, I am neither fat nor skinny. Therefore, you are correct when you say that I am not very stout. Also, if the object of this journey and the path leading there were mine, there would be many troubles for me. But because they relate not to me but to the body, there is no trouble at all. Staulyam, 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 karshyam, vyadhaya, adhayascha, shutrun bhayam, kaliricha, jaracha, nidraratirmanyugha, nidraratirmanyuraham madah shucho dehena jatasya himena santi. Fatness, thinness, bodily and mental distress, thirst, hunger, fear, disagreement, desires for material happiness, old age, sleep, attachment for material possessions, anger, lamentation, illusion, and identification of the body with the self are all transformations of the material covering of the spirit soul. A person absorbed in the material bodily conception is affected by these things, but I am free from all bodily conceptions. Consequently, I am neither fat nor skinny nor anything else you have mentioned. जीवन मृतत्वं नियमेव राजन् आद्यन्तवध्यद्विकृतस्य धृष्टं स्वस्वाम्यभावो ध्रुव ईड्य यत्र तर्ह्युच्यते सौ विधिकृत्य योगः. My dear king, you have unnecessarily accused me of being dead although alive. In this regard, I can only say that this is the case everywhere because everything material has its beginning and end. As far as you're thinking that you are the king and master and thus trying to order me, this is also incorrect because these positions are temporary. Today you are the king and I am your servant, but tomorrow the position may be changed and you may be the servant and I am your master. These are temporary circumstances created by providence. Vishesha buddher vivaram manakcha pashyamayanna vyavaharatonyata ka ishwarastatra kimishitavyam tatapi rajan karavama kimte. O dear king, if you still think that you are the king and that I am your servant, you should order me and I should follow your order. I can then say that this differentiation is temporary and it expands only from usage or convention. I do not see any other cause. In that case, who is the master and who is the servant? Everyone is being forced by the laws of material nature. Therefore, no one is the master and no one is servant. Nonetheless, if you think that you are the master and that I am the servant, I shall accept this. Please order me. What can I do for you? Unmattamatta-jadavat-swasamstam gatasya me veera-chikitsitena artah kriyan bhagavata shishitena artah kriyan bhagavata shishitena tabdha-pramattasya cha pishtapeshaha. My dear king, you have said, you rascal, you dull crazy fellow, I am going to chastise you and then you will come to your senses. In this regard, let me say that although I live like a dull, deaf and dumb man, I am actually a self-realized person. What will you gain by punishing me? If your calculation is true and I am a madman, then your punishment will be like beating a dead horse. There will be no effect. When a madman is punished, he is not cured of his madness. Shri Shuka Uvacha एतावदनुवाद परिभाषया प्रत्युदीर्य मुनिवर उपशामशील उपरतानात्म्य निमित्त उपभोगेन कर्मारब्धं व्यपनयन् राजयानमपि ततोवाह. Shukadeva Goswami said, O Maharaja Parikshit, when King Rahugana chastised the exalted devotee Jada Bharata with harsh words, that peaceful, saintly person tolerated it all and replied properly. Nescience is due to the bodily conception, and Jada Bharata was not affected by this false conception. Out of his natural humility, he never considered himself a great devotee, and he agreed to suffer the results of his past karma. Like an ordinary man, he thought that by carrying the palanquin, he was destroying the reactions of his past misdeeds. Thinking in this way, he began to carry the palanquin as before. Sachapi Pandaveya Sindhu Sauvira Patistatva Jignasayam Samyak Shraddhayadhi Krutadhikara Karastadhrudaya Granti Mochanam Dvijavacha Ashrutya Bahuyoga Granta Sammatam Tvaraya Varuhya Shirasa Padamula Mupasrutaha Kshamapayan Vigata Drupadevasmaya Uvacha. Shukadeva Goswami continued, O best of the Pandu dynasty, Maharaja Parikshit, the king of Sindhu and Sauvira states, Maharaja Rahugana, had great faith in the discussions of the absolute truth. Being thus qualified, he heard from Jada Bharata the philosophical presentation which is approved by all scriptures on the mystic yoga process and which slackens the knot in the heart. His material conception of himself as a king was thus destroyed. He immediately descended from his palanquin and fell flat on the ground with his head at the lotus feet of Jada Bharata in such a way that he might be excused for his insulting words against the great Brahmana. He then prayed as follows. Kastvam Nirudascharasi Dvijanam Bibarshi Sutram Katamova Kasyasi Kutratya Ihapi Kasmat Kshemaya Naschedhasi Nota Shuklaha. King Rahugana said, O Brahmana, you appear to be moving in this world very much covered and unknown to others. Who are you? Are you a learned Brahmana and a saintly person? I see that you are wearing a sacred thread. Are you one of those exalted liberated saints such as Dattatreya and other highly advanced learned scholars? May I ask, whose disciple are you? Where do you live? Why do you come to this place? Why have you come to this place? Is your mission in coming here to do good for us? Please let us know who you are. Naham Vishanke Suraraja Vajran Nayat Natratyaksha Shulan Yamasya Dandat Nagyarkasomanila Vittapastrya Chanke Brusham Brahmakula Vamanat. My dear sir, I am not at all afraid of the thunderbolt of King Indira, nor am I afraid of the serpentine piercing trident of Lord Shiva. I do not care about the punishment of Yamaraja, the superintendent of death, nor am I afraid of fire, scorching sun, moon, wind, nor the winds of Kubera. Yet I am afraid of offending a Brahmana. I am very much afraid of this. Tad Brahma Tad Bruhya Sango Jadavanniruda Vijnana Viryo Vicharasya Paraha Vachamsi Yoga Gratitani Sadhyo Nanah Kshamante Manasapi Bhetum. My dear sir, it appears that the influence of your great spiritual knowledge is hidden. Factually, you are bereft of all material association and fully absorbed in the thought of the Supreme. Consequently, you are unlimitedly advanced in spiritual knowledge. Please tell me, why are you wandering around like a dullard? O great saintly person, you have spoken words approved by the yogic process, but it is not possible for us to understand what you have said. Therefore, kindly explain it. अहं स योगेश्वरमात्मतत्त्वा विधां मुनीनां परमं गुरुं वै प्रष्टुं प्रकृतः किमिहारणं तत् साक्षाद्धरिं ज्ञानकलावतीर्णम्. I consider your good self the most exalted master of mystic power. You know the spiritual science perfectly well. You are most exalted of all learned sages, and you have descended for the benefit of all human society. You have come to give spiritual knowledge, and you are a direct representative of Kapila Deva, the incarnation of God and the plenary portion of knowledge. I am therefore asking you, O spiritual master, what is the most serene shelter in this world? Savai Bhavan Loka Nirikshanartam Avyaktalingo Vicharatyapi Svita Yogeshwaranam Gatimanda Buddhihi Katam Vichakshita Gruhanubandaha. Is it not a fact that your good self is the direct representative of Kapila Deva, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? To examine people and see who is actually a human being and who is not, you have presented yourself to be a deaf and dumb person. Are you not moving this way upon the surface of the world? I am very attached to family life and worldly activities, and I am blind to spiritual knowledge. Nonetheless, I am now present before you, and I am seeking enlightenment from you. How can I advance in spiritual life? Drushtah Kshama क्षमः कर्मत आत्मनो वै भर्तुर्गन्तुर्भवतश्चानुमन्ये यथा सतो दानयनाध्यभावात् समूलदृष्टो व्यवहारमार्गः. You have said, I am not fatigued from labor Although the soul is different from the body, there is fatigue because of bodily labor, and it appears to be fatigue of the soul when you are carrying a palanquin. Therefore, there is certain labor for the soul. This is my conjecture. You have also said that the external behavior exhibited between the master and the servant is not factual, but although in the phenomenal world it is not factual, the products of the phenomenal world can actually affect things that is visible and experienced. As such, even though the material activities are impermanent, they cannot be said to be untrue. Stalyag Stalyagni तापात्पयसोभितापस्तत्तापतस्तण्डुल गर्भरन्धिः देहेन्द्रियास्वाशय सन्निकर्षात् तत्संसृतिः पुरुषस्यानुरोधात्. King Rahugana continued, "My dear sir, you have said that designations like bodily fatness and thinness are not characteristics of the soul. This is incorrect because designations like pain and pleasure are certainly felt by the soul. You may put on a pot of milk and rice you may put a pot of milk and rice within fire, and the milk and rice are automatically heated one after another. Similarly, due to the bodily pains and pleasures, the senses, mind, and the soul are affected. The soul cannot be completely detached from this conditioning." शास्ताभिगोप्ता नृपतिः प्रजानां यः किङ्करो वै न पिनष्टिपिष्टं स्वधर्ममाराध मनच्युतस्य यदीह मानो विजहात्यद्घौघम्. My dear sir, you have said that the relationship between the king and the subject, or between the master and the servant, are not eternal. But although such relationships are temporary, when a person takes the position of a king, his duty is to rule the citizens and punish those who are disobedient to the laws. By punishing them, he teaches the citizens to obey the laws of state. Again, you have said that punishing a person who is deaf and dumb is like chewing the chewed or grinding the pulp. That is to say, there is no benefit in it. However, if one is engaged in his own occupational duty as ordered by the Supreme Lord, his sinful activities are certainly diminished. Therefore, if one is engaged in his occupational duty by force, he benefits because he can vanquish all his sinful activities in this way. तन्मे भवान् नरदेवाभिमानम् अदेन तुच्छीकृतसत्तमस्य कृषीष्ट मैत्रीधृशमार्तबन्धो यतातरे सदवद्वानमङ्हः. Whatever you have spoken appears to me to be contradictory. O best friend of the distressed, I have committed a great offense by insulting you. I was puffed up with false prestige due to possessing the body of a king. For this I have certainly become an offender. Therefore, I pray that you kindly glance at me with your causeless mercy. If you do so, I can be relieved from the sinful activities brought about by insulting you. Navikriya Vishwa Suhrutsahasya Savikriya Vishwa Suhrutsahasya साम्येन वीताभिमतेस्तवापि तहद्विमानात् स्वकृतादिमादृक् माधृन् नङ्क्ष्यत्यधूरादपि शूलपाणिः. O my dear Lord, you are the friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the friend of all living entities. You are therefore equal to everyone, and you are free from the bodily conception. Although I have committed an offense by insulting you, I know that there is no loss or gain for you due to my insult. You are fixed in your determination, but I have committed an offense. Because of this, even though I may be strong as Lord Shiva, I shall be vanquished without delay due to my offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Thus ends the chapter entitled Discussion between Jada Bharata and Maharaja Rahugana. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.